Once upon a time, there was a king who had grown old and wished to choose a successor from among his three sons. He wanted to pass his kingdom to the most deserving of them. So, one day, he called them together. The king gave each of his sons a single seed and said, "Sons, I want you to plant the seeds and take care for them for 1 year. After the year has passed, you will return to me with your own plants, and I will decide who among you will inherit my throne." The three princes took their seeds and planted them in the royal garden and diligently cared for them each day. They watered, tended, and watched over these pots. A year later, the king summoned them again. The three princes arrived before the king with their flower pots. The two elder princes were pleased and proudly showed the king their pots, each containing a beautiful plant. But the youngest prince, with sadness in heart, brought an empty pot. He bowed his head and said, "Father, I have watered and cared for these seeds for a whole year, but it did not grow." The king looked at the three pots and then declared, "Now the time has come to announce who will take over my kingdom." Both the elder princes stood tall, expecting the king to choose one of them. But the youngest kept his eyes on the ground that he had failed. To everyone's surprise, the king announced, "The kingdom will be given to my youngest son." The two elder princes were shocked and protested. "Father, how could you do this? We brought you plants from the seeds you gave us. Our brother brought you nothing. How can he be chosen? This is unfair." The king smiled and said, "A year ago, I gave each of you wild seeds. Seeds that were not meant to grow. It was impossible for any plant to sprout from them. The plants you brought were not from the seeds I gave you. This means you were not honest." Then he turned to his youngest son and said, "Your brother, though his pot is empty, was honest. He cared for the seeds and did not deceive me with something else. For his truthfulness, I have chosen him to be the next king." In this way, the youngest prince became the king, honored for his honesty, while the elder princes learned the value of the truth. That was the end of the story.